We have to start calling people stupid again. We have to look them in the eyes and tell them, you are stupid. If you are that individual that voted for Donald Trump because you truly believed he was going to release the Epstein files, or he was going to be a man of peace and not do any more new wars, you are stupid.
I'm as real can get. What you see?
Buongiorno Freaks and Geeks, welcome back to the channel. It has never been clearer to me than right now that the world is in absolute chaos because a bunch of rich paedophiles wants to protect the image and identity of a bunch of rich paedophiles. What the hell is going on? And believe me when I say it is all very much connected. And we might return to that sentiment by the end of this video. But in the meantime, I wanted us to have a quick look at this segment from a Channel 4 news report, which was aired yesterday. Before I press play, please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments down below whether Iran can sustain this level of barrage from Israel and America.
The Prime Minister's late-night announcement that the US could now use RAF Fairford and Diego Garcia for bombing attacks on Iranian missile launchers didn't get him any public thanks.
You can dispel any myth that Britain is not involved in this act of aggression on Iran. At this point, we might as well just be sending missiles ourselves. What do you mean you can use our bases for your war crimes?
President Trump said he was very disappointed with the UK reaction to the initial bombing of Iran, and Keir Starmer took far too long responding.
What are you talking about? Starmer came straight out and said, I condemn Iran for even reacting. They should be taking punches and not react. Do not retaliate. Just take these punches, okay? You little brown animal. Just take these punches right now. Take it like a good boy. Basically, Starmer was saying. What do you mean his reaction? Guys, the cat's out of the bag. Everyone is now coming to the realization that anything the West does is not for honorable reasons. And for some reason, Keir is also noticing that. So he wants to come across as some type of moral and just leader when we know he's not. But in this case, he's trying his best to look like that.
His defense secretary also piled in.
As we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Hemming and hawing about the use of force.
He and his boss won't have liked Keir Starmer's words in the Commons, where he sounded like a man who thought Operation Epic Fury might be an epic mistake.
Are we in a computer game? What do you mean, Operation Epic Fury? We are, well, us by extension, but Americans have elected literal children to run their government. And I mean elected in the most loose of terms. But this is who's running their government. And by extension, our government. Like, do not be mistaken by Keir's display of almost reluctance to get involved. He's still letting them use our bases. Is that someone that's showing any reluctance to you?
This government does not believe in regime change from the skies. The lessons of history have taught us that it is important when we make decisions like this that we establish there is a lawful basis for what the United Kingdom is doing.
You're lending them their bases. None of this is within international legislation. They're doing it because they just don't like Iran. What legal basis is there for that? And you are actually aiding and abetting them by allowing them to use your bases, because these bases are presumably just outside of the reach of Iranian missiles. international law. You don't care about international law.
That is one of the lessons from Iraq. And that there's a viable, thought-through plan with an objective that can be achieved.
Non-essential personnel leaving RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus. 2 drones were intercepted heading for the base this morning following one hit at midnight. The Prime Minister said the US would not be using this base. From some Labour opponents of the Iraq war, a guarded welcome for Keir Starmer's response to US action now.
Can I commend my right honourable friend for his resolute stand? It can't have been easy to stand up to the President and not get dragged into this war that has no apparent end plan.
The Prime Minister's right. There needs to be a plan. Has the US President shared with him or consulted with him on what the plan is?
John, what are you talking about? There has to be a plan. First of all, America and Israel have no right, let alone to be formulating a plan. They have no right to be attacking Iran. So basically, John McDonnell, who is apparently on the left of Labour, is saying he would be fine with Israel and America's aggression if there was a plan in place. The world's gone bananas.
Because from our experience, we know it's easy for politicians to start the war and fire the weapons.
Politicians aren't doing any of that. It's actually soldiers doing it. Politicians are safe under their silk sheets while soldiers go and do all of the heavy lifting.
It's when the shooting ends, the nightmare begins.
Yes, exactly.
Others chorused their approval, adjusting to the sound of a Prime Minister singing their tune.
Can I thank him for his right to urge caution?
It wasn't enough for the Green Party leader, bringing his by-election victor to Parliament.
The majority of people in this country do not want our UK bases to be used by US military. And the only reason why this is happening is Keir Starmer is incapable of standing up to Donald Trump.
Everything there is true, but I would also like to add, even if the majority of British voters or whatever, or the British population were in favour of America using those bases, it would still be wrong. It's just wrong. I don't care. Morally, spiritually, whatever you want, it is wrong for America to even attempt to use bases. It's wrong for America to even send missiles in Iran's direction. It's all wrong.
Keir Starmer said US use of British bases would be limited to specific bombing missions like attacks on Iranian missile launchers. That was justified by international law on collective defence, he said.
And what if they don't? What are you going to do? You're going to kick them out of the bases? What if they don't use it just to defend from missiles and they actually go and do a massive carpet bombing campaign within the borders of Iran? Are you going to do something then, Keir Starmer?
And it was much needed by allies in the Middle East. The Foreign Office estimates 300,000 British citizens could be in the region, and they include many who were trapped as they changed flights crossing the world and are now grounded, not knowing when flights will resume.
I'm very apprehensive. I do want to come home or go on to Australia, and I don't know what's happening. Just hope the airport opens soon.
Yeah, basically British citizens are just getting not even a 1% taste of what Gaza went through, and it's still going through. Like 2.5 years later. Yeah, and just an aside, why did that look so fake? It seemed like it was pasted onto that Dell laptop. I don't know why. Why not just show the original screen that they were talking through? Weird.
Friday, across the Gulf from Iran, Dubai, the busiest international passenger airport in the world. Doha, the 10th busiest. This was air traffic just before the attack. The skies swarmed with civilian airliners. 2 days later, the skies are virtually empty. A few airliners skirting around the region, most keeping completely clear of it.
Yeah, This is what happened when America and Israel show their hubris. Everyone has to feel it now. What did you really think was going to happen? Did everyone think that Iran was just going to sit, like just lay down and take this, when they know that all of these nations close by are aiding and abetting their destruction?
At Heathrow this afternoon, an empty concourse, normally packed with passengers for the Middle East. Some in government already forecasting the economic hit they fear will follow disrupted trade, travel, and rising oil prices.
Who cares?
Yeah, but like, you know, people are dying as well. You know, there was like over 150 school children killed. Maybe that matters a bit more than the price of your oil right now.
It's only just over a year ago or so that Keir Starmer moved into full bromance form with Donald Trump. It was called a love-in, that White House meeting. And after that, so many episodes when Keir Starmer bit his tongue over the Chagos Islands, over Greenland, over tariffs. Something seemed to change today.
He is pretending to be a leader. I mean, you've just listed all of the things that have happened to him. And still at this point, he's allowing America to use British bases within the vicinity of Iran. This is still a bromance. Keir Starmer is a battered spouse right now. And for some reason, he's still being semi-compliant. So like this whole talk of, oh yeah, the bromance is gone. It was never bromance in the first place. Donald Trump just wanted Keir Starmer as a cuck, and that's about it. He wanted Keir Starmer as a cuck as he tried to get it on with Israel. I don't know, Bibi Netanyahu, but there was never a bromance between them two. Yeah, Donald Trump saw him as just a servant, just someone beneath him.
And although he didn't say it in the most offensive, stark way that he could, it was perfectly clear what Keir Starmer was saying to Donald Trump, to the world. The plan that you are, the military action that you are effecting at the moment in Iran is illegal and is not founded on a proper plan. We've been told over the years that we will see post-Brexit, maybe, certainly post-Trump, Britain moving closer to Europe, more distant from America. If that book is ever written, this could be a serious paragraph inside it.
Yeah, I don't know, because even if Britain moves closer to the European Union or Europe itself, the people on the continent are super cucked to America as well, especially Germany. Maybe not so much France, but yeah, the rest of them are. So it doesn't matter. The only option right now is probably to move closer towards China, but that is a dirty word in these circles, so I'm not going to hold my breath there.
One of the other phenomenon that we saw today was the left of the Labour Party in the slightly unfamiliar position of approving of what a Labour Prime Minister says about US military action. They haven't been able to coo, as you heard them there, and chorus in the way that they did today for quite a long time. And it was quite telling as well. This happens at a moment when Keir Starmer needs as much support as he can find inside the Labour Party, but he also looked more comfortable, the human rights lawyer of old.
The human rights lawyer of old was doing it on behalf of the British government in Northern Ireland. That was his human rights. If you cared to even do the most cursory bit of research into it.
He looked more comfortable than he does with some of the lines he's been reading out in more recent times.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too excited. I don't believe Keir Starmer was more comfortable pretending to be a human rights lawyer again. It was just something he had to do because of all of the other pressures that are coming down on him. So he had to pretend to project a leader that is standing up to America at this time. But you didn't stand up to America when it came to Greenland. You didn't stand up to America when it came to them placing tariffs on us. Yeah. You didn't stand up to America then, but you chose to stand up to America right now because this is probably the easiest time you can stand up to America, because America's creating action or creating aggression towards Iran over there, and they've done it hand in glove with Israel. And now they're looking around and saying, oh, we might need support. It's easier to say right now, nah, you didn't really consult me in the first place, so I'm not going to send support, than anything else that's happened in the past. But like I said, Keir Starmer is still allowing them to use British military bases for their operations. With that being said, I got some other statements. We have to start calling people stupid again. We have to look them in the eyes and tell them, you are stupid. If you are that individual that voted for Donald Trump because you truly believed he was going to release the Epstein files, or he was going to be a man of peace and not do any more new wars, you are stupid. When they do trials, and I hope to God they do trials, international trials, bringing everyone to justice who was complicit in the genocide in Gaza, or who was participated in this illegal attack on Iran right now, whether you're Democrat or Republican, I hope they scoop up all of the podcasters that approve this as well. We have been told to believe a country that committed genocide in Gaza really cares about the people of Iran, despite their first acts being killing a 86-year-old man and flattening a school full of primary school children. Keir Starmer wants us to forget about Peter Mandelson, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and the Epstein files. He is connected to all of those things, and we cannot let him go unaccountable for the decisions he made in bringing Peter Mandelson back into the government fold. Despite all of the gesturing by Keir Starmer, all three Tory parties want us involved and established as a target for Iran, whether it's the red Tories, the blue Tories, or the reform Tories. I remember a few videos back saying I really hated agreeing with whatever Kemi, the leader of the opposition, was saying, and thank God she has shown why we are very, very different and not the same. She wants Britain to have even more direct involvement within this act of aggression on Iran. It's a shame she hasn't been this forceful in the police bringing charges to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. What will the Arab countries in the Gulf region do if Iran is toppled and Israel wants to fulfill its ambition of greater Israel? Do you think America is going to back you simply because they have military bases there? No. Those bases are there so they can easily do a coup from within. If you are within the Iranian diaspora and you are cheering at the sight of missiles coming from Israel and America and landing in Iran, tell me this: are over 100 children dying really a price worth paying to kill one 86-year-old man who was probably only a few years away from death? Why can't Iran have nukes? I mean, if one country has nukes, that means every country should have nukes. I know officially it's recognized that only 9 countries have nukes, but I don't care if Iran has nukes. In fact, if countries who benefited the most from chattel slavery committed genocides on multiple different indigenous peoples, created coups in countries they didn't like where the government was in charge, participated in concentration camps, whether it's in their own country or in Kenya, if they are allowed to have nuclear weapons, I see no reason why Iran can't have them as well. Where are all of the unions? I mean, I used to list the different unions in the description box below, but then I realized they're not really for all working class people. They're only for people that put money in their pocket. And for me, that makes them absolutely useless. We need to stop engaging with the establishment media and start relying on our own outlets. And this includes Channel 4, The Guardian, New Statesman. They are still wrapped up within the establishment and they still have masses of propaganda. If you are left or centre, progressive or even far left, we need to stop engaging with these outlets and create something of our own. And I know I watched their content today, but I did not give them a view. I just downloaded the video. And that will leave us to be able to challenge their propaganda in videos like this. So this has been a much longer video than what I usually do, but I thought it was very important for me to at least get out some of my burning statements that have been there for a little while. If you've made it to this point, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you could just do one more thing, please hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and tell me down below, is it too late for Britain to withdraw their support of this crazy act of aggression by saying no, you cannot use our military bases any longer? Anyway, I'll see you very soon. Ciao.